Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views on myself, Salailo Makwidi. The time is 9:43 Central African Time. And our next conversation is something that I don't think we never thought we'd hear of in a post-apartheid South Africa. The presidency yesterday, through Minister in the Presidency, Kumbuzo Nchaveni, have openly, have openly given a warning of the risk of a coup in South Africa. You heard that right. For the first time since democracy, the possibility of a military overthrow has been publicly acknowledged by the presidency. And as I mentioned, Minister in the Presidency Kumbuzo Nchaveni giving that address. During the unveiling of a redacted version of the country's national security strategy, the warning has sparked alarm, as expected. It has sparked debate and deep concern over the cracks in our intelligence and national defense system. This is I think, we can all consider a very, very important moment, an honest moment of transparency from the government, or maybe, just maybe, a red flag that state institutions are far weaker than we imagined. And what does this mean for democracy? What does it mean for stability for you and I, the people of this country, the future of South Africa's civil military relations? Joining us now is someone who has long tracked the evolution of security and the governance on the continent. Jakkie is the head of African Futures and Innovation at the Institute for Security Studies. Jakkie, thank you so much for being with us. Welcome to Salam Media. Really appreciate you giving us your time this morning.
Thank you. Great pleasure.
I think we can kickstart the conversation with that announcement by Minister in the Presidency, Nchaveni, when she, open referenced the risk of a coup in South Africa and how the government has flagged it. What's your reaction to that? Were you surprised by that announcement? And how significant would you say it is that it was said publicly from the highest office in the land, essentially?
Well, I think it's very irresponsible, both the remarks by the presidency, but also the response by the media. This is a ridiculous accusation or allegation to be made. To be frank, the SANDF can hardly manage itself. Do we think that they are capable of organizing a coup in a relatively developed country such as South Africa? I think this is a storm in a teacup. And we really need to move on. I was not at the press conference. I've only read the news reports, so I may be out of context. But my understanding from the news reports that I've read is that she was either making the remark or responding to some questions by journalists. I don't think this is serious at all.
Mm. Let's just talk about maybe the structural conditions that could possibly make a coup even remotely possible in a democratic South Africa. Are our institutions that vulnerable? Would they be ready if something of this nature does come about?
Well, to do a coup, let's say by the military, which is normally where a coup comes from, they would need to be able to control the state institutions. And historically, that has meant broadcasting, it has meant parliament, the executive. None of that is possible in South Africa. The military can't even deploy to northern Mozambique or to the eastern part of the DRC. They are underfunded. I think what this reflects more than anything else is simply the dysfunction and the problems that we have in the intelligence community. There is in the National Intelligence Strategy that the minister released now, which was apparently approved in Cabinet in March of 2024, there's no mention of a coup. The only mention is a definition in the annexure of what a coup d'etat is. So I really think it's an irresponsible debate to have in South Africa, in my view, because it undermines investment, confidence in South Africa, and as a sidetrack, what we need to do is we need to fix the intelligence agencies. They are clearly a problem, and I would almost go, but they're really a problem in South Africa, and it's been pointed out time after time again. And it was also evident from the Sandy Africa report that the rest of government doesn't really take the intelligence community seriously. There's no coordination. There's no national security analysis that is really taken, that really informs other government agencies. And some of the recommendations of the Sandy Africa report, which happened after the Zuma riots, was that the government really needs to get its act together. And we know from the Zuma report that the intelligence agencies, both within the police and the state security agencies, served as a slush fund for political interference. So that's really where the problem is. Criminality, organized crime, the threat from intelligence rather than from a coup d'etat or the military.
Very, very important. And I like the fact that you mentioned the July 2021 unrest, because it was coming to my next point in question. We saw, the intelligent failures
Yes.
that ultimately led to the July 2021 unrest, and there was serious, real weaknesses that were exposed. Do you see this new national security strategy that was announced by the minister in the presidency as a genuine attempt to correct cause, or just political posturing, as it has been the case with many other attempts to kind of make recourse by the government of the day?
Yeah, the strategy, for what it's worth, and I've just scanned through it, it really
Yeah.
is a strange document, was apparently approved by Cabinet in March of 2024, and it was now released publicly. I guess it was released because of the public furore around the recent challenges in crime intelligence. Why else now? It's a document with a list of challenges and problems that defines broad human security issues in South Africa. There is no indication of what the government is doing. It is true that in the meanwhile, what is happening is that, Jacob Zuma amalgamated the security agency, the intelligence agencies, into the state security agency. They were previously domestic and foreign were previously separated, and that's now going to be untangled again. The problem is that we need ethics and control over the intelligence community, because we know for a fact that they have been using and abusing, for example, security clearances and all of these kind of stuff for factional party purposes, and that their funds, which by nature are not really amenable to oversight, have been used as slush funds for, particularly within the ANC, particularly certain factions within the ANC. And these are issues that need to be resolved, not coup d'etats and other sort of fanciful diversions. We need to make sure that the senior appointments within our intelligence community are made based on competence and not on party political allegiance. That is the problem, particularly factional allegiance, I can almost say, to particular factions within the ANC, and that their funds are not being used to interfere into our domestic politics. So it's not a coup that's a problem. I think it's the intelligence communities that are a problem.
No, definitely. Just finally, before I let you go, you spoken about just how maybe it was irresponsible how this was reported by some members of the media. It got a lot of South Africans really worried, especially looking at just the events of the last few months. The issue with Senzo Mchunu and that appearance by KZN Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. What should South Africans take away from this? Is it time to panic, to prepare, or to pressure government to take intelligence and defense reform a bit more serious than they have?
What government needs to do is to make sure that the appointments within the security establishment are done independently and based on competence, not on factionalism or not on nepotism. And that means that the powers of the president need to be not changed. It's not that the president's doing a bad job in this, but you need to have a separate independent panel that, for example, vets and makes all the senior policing and other appointments. You need to give independence, real independence, to the National Prosecuting Authority, including separation of its budget, a separate budget. Those are the things that can make differences. Fixing police in South Africa, it's just a question of political will. It's not a question of either lack of money or any of those things. It is if politically we really have the will to get on top of crime in South Africa, it can be done. It means going back to the basics of policing and appointing competence over the political orientation or personality of the police commissioner, for example. remember the previous situation with Bekele and the National Police Commissioner, who were at odds with one another and competing to manage the police in a remarkable display of lack of political maturity in South Africa and the separation of our civil service, including our security services, from political interference.
Definitely. Jakkie, thank you so much for chatting to us. I really, really appreciate you giving us the time. I can tell you a lot of people are panicking, saying, hey, South Africa is finally an African country. Jakkie Cilliers, Institute for Security Studies. Yeah. Seems don't worry yourself too much. There was maybe just blowing things out of proportion a bit there from some colleagues in the media. Well, we have to find clicks. We have to have you read the headlines. But ultimately, the only thing that you and I should be concerned about is the state of our police, is the state of intelligence, and how government is seemingly not taking those serious. But Coup, maybe not. What do you think? Do you think maybe there's a chance for a coup in South Africa? Is the ground fertile for that? Reading just the mood of the country and just taking things back to July 2021, those unrests that have taken place. Do you possibly feel like there could be a coup on the horizon? Who would initiate it? Okay. Is there like an organization here in South Africa, or maybe the military in itself, which Jakkie pointed out that they're largely underfunded? They can't seem to be, organized within themselves. Could they stage a coup, as we've seen images from some parts of the continent? We have some comments on Facebook. Abdul Razak Ismailov saying, I personally find the idea of a coup in South Africa coming from hostile foreign powers such as the US and its attack dog Israel, or as often referred to it, ISIS-Rael, to be the most plausible culprit. He continues to say, the US has violently overthrown countless democracies in the world since the end of World War II, and there's still the matter of that US military base in Botswana, just over 300 kilometers away from Gauteng. What do you think? Do you think maybe that's maybe a more plausible, kind of event that might happen? Interference from other countries, including the United States of America. It won't be the first time that's happening. It has happened in other parts of the world so many other times. And just looking at how South Africa and our relations with the United States of America have been in the last couple of years, they've not been at their best. But what do you think? Do you get that sense that one day you might wake up, you switch on the news, and there's breaking news, military on the telly, saying, yeah, we have overthrown the government and the country will be under military rule from now onwards until we find a way forward? I don't know, man. Say whatever you want about South Africa, but I still feel like we have some really, really good institutions still in place. I think it's just up to us as South Africans to be a bit more vocal and a bit more demanding of our government, not just from the comfort of our homes, but in the ballot, going out to vote, holding people accountable for their actions, and just nipping corruption at the bud, which is which is one of the most, I think, worrisome issues here in South Africa, the issue of corruption. But Coup, I don't know. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues after this.